Okay, so here I have my architecture all finished. And basically what I want to do now is to color the background in. And I have here a variety of materials. I have markers, I have crayons, and I have pencil crayons. And I'm not using all of them. I just wanted to give you different materials. So whatever you have, you can use. I picked a color scheme. I picked the same colors throughout because I'm going to divide this just to show you the differences. But what you want to do is you want to kind of have an idea of what colors you want to use. You don't want to just willy-nilly pick random colors. You want to think about what your background is going to look like. So I'm going to start with dividing up my background here. You don't have to do this. I'm just showing you because I want you to see the difference and how to work the materials. So I'm just going to get a pencil here. You are doing one material. I'm just showing you 3 different materials to use and how they'll look different and what I want to do that will make them look their best. Okay, so let's begin. I'm going to start with marker, and I'm just going to think about how I want it, and I don't know. Let's start and see what happens. And I'm gonna kind of go. And what color does is color your landscape pop. So it brings that black and white. It brings it out. It really does make it pop. So I'm going to do part of this here. And I want you to use your best penmanship, we'll call it. I don't want you to just scribble around. I'm going to kind of go up in color here. I'm going to do... This marker is not so great. I also recommend you to check your markers before you start working with them to make sure that they work well and not to have what is happening to me happen to you, because I can see right now this ink is drying out. So it may have been my best choice. And I'm trying to think of how my colors are going to blend. And with markers, you can't really blend in the same way, but you can kind of create a color scheme. And I'm going from pinks to purples to blues because that's kind of how they blend. Okay, let's move on to the next one. I'm going to put these markers away. Same color theme. I'm actually going to turn it around and do it this way. And I'm going to use pencil crayons. And with pencil crayons, you can also blend a little bit more. So I'm going to start with the pink. I actually have to start lower down because I want it to line up just for my sample. And with pencil crayons, what you can do is you can go lightly and you can blend. So I'm not pressing too hard, but I am going in the same direction. And I want you to recognize that I'm not going all over. I'm not going this way and that way. I'm trying to keep it in the same direction. It keeps it neater. And yes, my hand is starting to get a little sore. And if yours gets sore, you can just do some stretching. And now I'm going to go with the darker pink, and I'm going to blend it a little bit in here so it kind of blends a little bit and the color fades nicer, I think, than when you're just doing markers. I'm not pressing too hard, but I am going in the same direction. And I'm blending it a little bit down too. And when I go over it, it's kind of like when we did the apple shading. You go back and forth a little bit up and down. When you're using a pencil crayons, make sure that there's nothing underneath your surface because it will come through. Like if I took this paper clip and I went over it, I'll just show you a little. You would see the bumps come through, and you don't want that. So make sure your surface is nice and clean. If you sharpen your pencil, don't use, remember when we did shading with the apple? You don't want it to be too pointy. Now that's a little better. I have to do the sides a little bit. So even though I said don't go different directions, sometimes you have to kind of blend in on the sides. And now the turquoise.
And lastly is this one. I think I took the wrong. Yeah, that's better.
Blend it in. Okay. And next, I'm going to use crayons. You could use pastels or crayons, whatever you have. But if you do use pastels, then it's really important to cover this part as you're doing it because you don't want the pastels to smudge on your beautiful work. Okay. And markers sometimes, as you can tell, is starting to curl my paper. And I'm using a thick cardstock. So I just want you to be mindful of that, that when you use marker, it does curl a little bit. Okay, let's start with our, I think I'm missing, there we go, I'm just missing a color. Start with our pink. With crayon, you can go different directions. You don't see it as much. You can also blend with crayon. So I'm going to do the next color. And with crayons, what you can do is, instead of going like that, don't brush it with your hand. You kind of shake it off on the side. Or gently do it up and away from your work, okay? Once again, you can blend a little bit. I'm just kind of blending in a little bit over here. And I am done. Okay, so there you go. I don't know, I kind of like the pencil, crayon, or crayon better than the marker. Or both. You know what? Use whatever you have or use a combination. But the point is I wanted to show you what it does when you put color behind your architecture. The black and white and with the color background creates a beautiful contrast and really makes the work stand out. So good luck. Use what you have. Think about the colors that you're using. Try and match up, create color combinations, and try and do your best. Don't just scribble all over. Try and be conscious of what direction you're using and what colors look good side by side. You know, whether putting an orange beside a green is the best combination, maybe orange, yellow, red. So think about warm colors, cool colors, the color wheel, and how it all works together. Anyway, good luck. Can't wait to see them.